Please welcome to the lectern, Linda A. Bell, Provost and Dean of the Faculty of Barnard College.
Good morning. What a wonderful morning it is. I'm here today on behalf of our dear colleague, Yvette Christianse, a member of the search committee who was unable at the last minute to be here. So I'm going to be reading her remarks verbatim. No changes at all. I will try to do it with Yvette's flair and will fail, but nonetheless. I am one of 4 faculty who had the privilege of serving on the search committee for Barnard's 9th president. We were guided by the desire to find the kind of leader who understands what it means to be at a women's college, a liberal arts college, at this critical moment. We were guided by the example set for us by our current president, Sion Beilock, a leader with the courage to stand for social justice while working to sustain the scholarly and pedagogical project to which we at Barnard are all devoted. Our search process named and prioritized diversity and equity as values at every stage of the way. These are not merely formulaic terms for us. We committed to seeking a pool of candidates representing broad experience, born of diverse identities, backgrounds, and disciplinary affiliations. We therefore embraced the fact that one of the search committee's first sessions was run by our Vice President for Inclusion and Engaged Learning, Jennifer Rosales, who is also our Chief Diversity Officer. With this foundation, we paid close attention during listening sessions and to surveys, and we developed a charge to find a 9th president who shares Barnard's commitment to social justice, who would enable the excellence of students and faculty, who understands that leadership has a symbiotic relation with trust building and collaboration, and a willingness to listen to students, faculty, alumni, and administrative teams and operational staff. Our first meeting with Laura found us in conversation with a scholar administrator whose intellectual intensity, whose enthusiasm and direct engagement for each of us, especially our student representatives, was galvanizing. More, when she left the room, we found ourselves wanting to continue our conversation with someone of evident humanity, humility, and open-mindedness. We followed up that initial impression with a deeper exploration of her experience, her skill, and motivations. Every step confirmed our initial impressions of a synergy between Barnard's values and her commitments and capacities. That is why I am so proud to welcome Laura on behalf of the faculty involved in our search to Barnard College. Thank you.
We're a little taller. Thank you, Yvette. I mean, Linda. Good morning, everybody. What a wonderful day. So happy to be here. My name is Ann Weinbaum-Sacker. I'm a very proud Barnard alumna, and I've also had the privilege of being on the Barnard Board of Trustees for the last 5 years. You know, over the last 7 months, Ina and I have had the extraordinary honor of leading the search committee with our board chair, Cheryl Milstein, to find the next president of this great institution. It's particularly fitting that we're gathered here today in this location, the Diana Center. At the time the center opened in 2010, it was the first new building constructed on campus since 1987. And for everyone who was around a decade ago, you likely remember the intense, some would say obsessive, focus on the day-to-day construction progress from every member of our community. The interest was so great that on the Barnard website, it even provided alumni who had left Morningside Heights decades ago before with a way to track the center's daily progress. This building and that experience are reminders just how invested every community member is when it comes to Barnard's evolution. And why is that? It's because we all recognize how special a place this is and how lucky we all are to be part of it. It's a reminder that even good things need to keep evolving, and from a strong foundation, something even greater emerges. You know, in Barnard's 134-year history, Barnard has undergone this presidential transition only 9 times. Okay, 13 times if we include the deans prior to our presidents. So this really is a pretty rare and historic day. And like all moments of institutional change, it's a moment to reflect. We cannot write the next chapter without appreciating the ones that have come before. And in that vein, we'd very much like to express the enormous debt of gratitude we owe to Dr. Sion Bilock, who has honored that legacy. Thank you, Sion.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ina Drew. I feel very fortunate to be in my 9th year of service as a trustee for Barnard and as vice chair of this amazing board under Cheryl Milstein's leadership. Most importantly, I am a proud Barnard parent. We often hear about Barnard's role as a phenomenal liberal arts college and cutting edge of humanities, arts, and the scientists, our position as one of the nation's premier women's colleges, our unique relationship with Columbia University, where I have a graduate degree from, our extended classroom that just so happens to be the world's greatest city. All of these are true. But the most important differentiator about Barnard is still the very idea at the heart of our mission: access to an incredible higher education that can change women's lives. That idea was considered revolutionary at our founding. Even today, that idea must continue to evolve with our students, our landscape, and our changing world. We set out to find a leader who understood the weight of that idea and had the intelligence, commitment, and vision to protect it and enhance it. We set out to find the best, most qualified person to lead Barnard, and we did. We will let our next few speakers tell you more about the extraordinary qualities our president-elect brings to the role. I also want to give my personal thanks to Sion for really an amazing, amazing period of leadership here at the college. But I did briefly want to share my favorite moments of this process. We had just conducted our fantastic interview with our new president-elect. Everyone in the search committee was trying to find the right words to describe the connection we'd all felt. Suddenly, Alexa Easter, one of our student representatives, pointed to the door where Laura Rosenbury had just walked out and said, "I want to go where she's going." It was that simple. Sorry. Our students, our staff, our faculty, our alumni, and our entire Barnard community will now get to further the Barnard mission alongside Laura as we write the next chapter of this wonderful place together, and we will do it all together. Now it is our great pleasure to introduce a Barnard alumna, a parent, a fellow trustee and search committee member, a lecturer in law at Columbia Law School, the Metropolitan Opera's Chief Diversity Officer. Boy, this is long. Marcia Sells. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ann. And Ina, yeah, I didn't write that, so I would have just said Marcia. Thank you. I want to say and admit, from the very first meeting of our search committee, I suggested and encouraged, maybe even a little bit cajoled, our committee to look at law school leaders. Not selfishly, but because I have experienced firsthand in this moment, I see their incredible potential as undergraduate leaders. Part of it is a little bit practical. Law deans, since we have two in front of it, law deans deal with enormous enrollments, almost identical to those of liberal arts colleges like Barnard. To be a legal scholar is to identify issues or challenges before or as they reach the horizon and find a way to resolve them. To lead a law school is to connect with students who were English majors, chemistry majors, dance majors, African study majors. It is about serving a wide and diverse set of academic backgrounds and then uniting them in a common purpose, which sounds exactly like what we will want our new president to do. Laura's legal scholarship shows a brilliant mind who has spent a lifetime devoted to women and their navigating the world through work and their life. One that will help Barnard students continue to think, how are women gaining power? How do we achieve authority, capture our own history? Her work also shows the empathy and warmth that extend across everything she does. Laura is a perfect fit for Barnard. We are lucky to have her, and I'm excited about where we go from here. Now, it is my great privilege and honor to introduce our two fellow search committee members, two really amazing women I had the opportunity to meet during this process, Alex Easter and Sharmi Azrul.
Thank you, Professor Sells, and good morning, everyone. My name is Alexa Easter, and I'm a senior at Barnard, majoring in psychology and minoring in French.
And I'm Sharmi Azarel, a senior here at the college, and I'm majoring in ethnicity and race studies with a minor in political science. We have the honor of representing Barnard students in this process, and we're so proud that we are immensely and intensely in love with this place. If it's obvious.
As I thought about this day, my mind went back immediately to the very first moment I stepped on Broadway just outside of campus. I'd driven all the way from Ann Arbor, Michigan, my hometown, with my mom and dad in a minivan packed to the gills. I mean, packed. And the very moment I stepped out, just outside of campus on Broadway, who happened to be there to greet me but President Bylock and Dean Greenidge? I have photographic evidence. And that said so much to me about the kind of place that Barnard is. A tight-knit community where our leaders are right there alongside us, supporting students for the ride. Supporting us, empowering us, listening to us. The first time I sat in a room with this search committee, I was a little intimidated. I looked and saw all these trustees, people who I had only seen standing on stage, wearing robes, and I thought, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I was starstruck too at first. I thought, whoa, there's Cheryl Milstein. At any rate, one of our trustees, Bill Hellman, noticed. He looked at me and Alexa and said, "You're here for a reason. Tell us what you have to say." We never forgot that. What we want to say to students today is, you're going to love Laura Rosenbury. When you meet her, you'll feel the same warmth we did. She's real. You will see how collaborative and engaging she is. You will know she cares. At every point in this process, she has talked about how important our voice as a student is, how she wants us to bring in and work through tough issues that may arise. Laura is someone we can approach, but she's also someone we can look up to. And we can't wait for you to meet her. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Alexa and Sharmi. And if you want to be adopted, just we have legal representation to get the papers working. And thank you all for being here today. My name is Cheryl Milstein, and I have the distinct privilege of being a Barnard alumna, a Barnard parent, and since 2018, the chair of the Barnard Board of Trustees. I want to welcome so many people here today, in person and on live stream. Representatives of the college, of Columbia University. We have our president, Lee Bollinger, and Provost Mary Boyce. Thank you very much. Academic and community leaders, students, parents, and alumni. We're honored to share in this special moment with each of you. And I want to acknowledge that I stand here as one small part of a much larger team, all of whom played a role in getting us to this moment. Part of why we're here today is to salute Sion Beilock for 6 extraordinary years as president of Barnard. Sion arrived on campus in July 2017 and has been relentless in supporting our students and bringing Barnard's story to the world. And if you look at the 4 pillars and strategic priorities that she laid out all those years ago, she has accomplished exactly what she came here to do. Sion, you have positioned Barnard as, let's say it, singular? A singular institution, singular Sion, poised to emerge even stronger in this moment. We are grateful to you and Sarah, and of course, our unofficial mascot, Rosie. Sion, we can't wait to see what you do at Dartmouth. They're in for it's going to be amazing. So, as the search began last July, we knew we needed to involve the entire community. We held listening sessions, talked to community leaders, solicited open feedback, and nominations, and we emerged with a clear mandate to find somebody who was going to connect with, engage, and support our students, our faculty, and our staff. Someone who wanted to challenge our assumptions, someone who had spent their career emboldening women so that they could go out and change the world. We were looking for a unicorn, as Ina would say. And a few weeks later, we had our first meeting with Laura Rosenbury. We knew a few things immediately from Laura's CV. She was gifted and brilliant. She was intellectually curious. She was ambitious. And she had made it her life's work to empower women. Whether as an undergrad at Harvard, where she fell in love with and majored in women's history and women's studies, courses that would change her priorities and path in life, or at Planned Parenthood, where she realized that if she had a law degree, she could be even more impactful in supporting young women and families, or at Harvard Law School, where of course she excelled as well, serving as primary editor of the Law Review, or over her 20-year journey in academia, which has been remarkable. In her time at Washington University in St. Louis, the University of Florida, visiting stints at Harvard, Stanford, and the University of Chicago, she has become one of the country's leading scholars dedicated to advancing women and families through law. Her scholarly writing and research have fostered and shaped discussions nationwide on issues ranging from women in the workplace to postmodern feminism to children's rights and much, much more. But we all know that that's not enough to be just great on paper. You need the human intangible components. What set Laura apart was what came next. We learned she is a leader of students from her earliest days as an adjunct professor of law at Fordham, staying after class to mentor young women in her feminist legal theory seminar, to her open door policy with students, which she maintains today. She is a leader of faculty and staff. She has fostered collaborative relationships between deans, professors, and administration members across disciplines at places like the University of Florida. She has brought together departments to get through COVID and explore issues like First Amendment in the classroom. And Laura is a builder of community. This last point came through in every interaction that we had with her. With her warmth, she showed everyone in the room. With her high emotional intelligence, and with her active listening skills, and her honest and open replies. She developed personal connections with every member on the committee. And of course, she has a great sense of humor. Peter, Laura showed us how to do the gator chomp, demonstrating that she had thrown herself into the Gainesville culture. Laura, the good news is that you can keep the blue part of your wardrobe, but throw out the orange part. Okay. So by the end of our process, we believe that Laura could be a world-class president at any institution. But more importantly, we knew she would be a perfect fit here. Her path has not been traditional. At every step, she has compelled people to see new perspectives. She has seen the world in its complexity and understands that the diversity of thought enables the kind of debate and dialogue that Barnard students thrive on. It has all prepared her uniquely for this institution to continue to lead us in our bold pursuit of excellence. I want to recognize Anne and Ina and every member of the search committee for their devotion and their commitment. It was a long and rigorous process. I don't know about you, but I'm drinking after this. With the Board of Trustees' enthusiastic election of Laura, we have a bold leader who will champion us into the new chapter. We went looking for the best, most qualified person to lead Barnard. We found her. It is my distinct honor to now introduce the 9th president of Barnard College, Laura Rosenbury.
Wow. Thank you, Cheryl, for that absolutely wonderful introduction. And thank you, Anne, Ina, Marcia, Linda, Alexa, Sharmi, for all of your kind words. And thank you to the students, faculty, staff, and alums who have already reached out and made this such a warm welcome. And finally, many, many thanks to the trustees and the search committee for entrusting me with the incredible privilege and responsibility of becoming the 9th president of Barnard College. I want to begin by recognizing Dr. Sian Bylock as we plan this transition together. Over the past 6 years, it's clear that Sian has been the architect of a truly stunning period of growth and development and success for the college. One that I truly hope to build upon. I'm honored to take the baton from you. Thank you. I do want to quickly note, however, particularly for the students, that I know it will be impossible to replace Rosie. I will not be able to carry that baton. At the same time, I cannot wait for all of you to meet our dog, Sigmund. We rescued him from a country road in northern Florida back in August, and he's a mix of so many different breeds. I can't get into it now. But it's going to be a big transition for him, becoming a city dog, but I think he's ready. And I look forward to you meeting him. In some ways, my story is an unlikely one to place me here today. I grew up in northern Indiana in an extended family that was centered around a family farm and the Church of the Brethren, an Anabaptist denomination. My life was family, church, public school, 4-H, for those of you who know it, and babysitting my younger brother and sister, and later children from the church and the neighborhood. If I were to tell that young woman that she'd be standing here today as the president of the most prestigious women's college in the country, in the middle of the nation's largest city, I think I would have just stared blankly back at you, totally not comprehending. But when I really think about it, this journey has made perfect sense. Every step of my life has been leading to this moment, because my story is the Barnard story. It is about the way a wonderful education can change the life of a young woman. The way that dedicated educators and mentors can find something in you even before you see it in yourself. And it's the way a remarkable institution can help you identify your life's passions, your life's calling, and then put you on a path to actually achieving it. My life changed right before my senior year of high school. My family picked up everything we'd ever known and moved to Westchester County, right outside of this big city. It might as well have been the moon for me. My life experience had been very different from those of my classmates. I felt unprepared, unsettled, and while I did well in school, I wasn't sure how to go about the college process. And I don't know where I would have ended up, but for a very fantastic high school guidance counselor named Mr. Sweeney. He told me to expect more. He laid a path to schools that I thought were beyond my wildest dreams. He convinced me to apply to Harvard, and I got in. And I was at Harvard at that time, like so many Barnard students experience, that I first discovered the passions that would define my life. The second semester of my first year, we had to take an expository writing class, and I picked the section focusing on women's history, completely on a whim. I had no idea what women's history even meant. But I walked out of the class on that first day, and I knew I was hooked. From there, the door was open to women's studies, to critical theory, public policy, seen through the lens of women and families. What I found so amazing about a women's studies concentration was the tight-knit, small community it naturally created, one that surrounded me with other young women who challenged me and helped me grow. A program that put me in small classes with a lot of attention from faculty and professors, and gave me close friendships that I cherish to this day. Now, if any of that rings a bell, it's because I recently realized I had been trying to create a place like Barnard. I should have just applied. And it's because of that experience that everything else in my life followed. When I first connected with the search committee, it did not take me long to see what a perfect match this could be on both sides. I began to see how this job was a connecting thread across many different moments and experiences in my career. My experience working at Planned Parenthood, which inspired me to go to law school so I could do more for women and families. My 20-year journey in academia, where I've been fortunate to teach and empower so many brilliant young women, and to develop scholarship on issues affecting women and families, and to build consensus among faculty and staff. And when I was meeting with the search committee, it reminded me even of the moment I took the LSAT years ago, right across the street on the Columbia campus, which I now realize was preparing me for this moment. Now, this morning is a lot more fun than that morning. So I'm glad there's been progress. So what at first might have seemed like an out-of-the-box fit suddenly felt like the only possible role that I would consider leaving Florida for. When I flew up to New York to meet with the committee, my partner Randall warned me what was about to happen, that the meeting would go well, that I would fall in love with the people, and that we should get ready, maybe, to move. I, of course, said he was totally wrong, when in fact he was right, and he'll be here for the board dinner tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll let all of you know how right he was. Leading a college as prestigious and distinct as Barnard has always been a unique undertaking, but I find it especially fascinating in this moment. What does it mean to educate and develop the next wave of writers, thinkers, researchers, communicators, and artists, and send them out into a global landscape that is constantly shifting and can feel destabilizing? How do we prepare women for careers in technology and the sciences that don't even yet exist? Careers that we might not even be able to imagine today. How do we nurture our students' innate sense of justice and help them to channel it so they can take that sense of justice and go out and change a world that is more unequal than ever before? I don't stand before you here today to lay out my vision for the next decade, but I can tell you how my experience and decades of research have informed my beliefs and how those beliefs will guide me. My life experience has given me a deep belief and commitment to pluralism, that creating a space that fosters diversity of thought, experience, and background is the only way to truly prepare our students for the increasing complexity that you will all encounter in the world. The professors I'm most grateful for are those who challenged my assumptions, who peeled off the layers to help me see a world that I had never even imagined, to see the world as I had never seen it before. For those working with me, you will find, I believe, deeply in collaboration across disciplines and open lines of communication. The challenges we face, not just at Barnard, but across the globe, are increasingly interconnected across sectors and skill sets, from climate change to income inequality to racial justice and equity, and to the future of work and artificial intelligence. By helping our students connect the dots here and giving them a broad foundation, they will join the world with an understanding of the big picture and be better for it. And this belief in collaboration is true at an institutional level as well. As I frequently tell my current team, and as I've told some of you, silo is my four-letter word. No S-I-L-O. I want our teams to share their best thinking and data and then work together to find the best solutions. And finally, I believe in building from the ground up, which means first and foremost that my early time here will be defined by learning and listening from each of you. It also means taking each student exactly where they are in their journey and supporting them based on that instead of the other way around. So I cannot begin to describe the energy and joy I feel today from being on this amazing campus, from seeing young women in this formative stage of life envision how they can build a different and better world. Our students have the idealism, the openness, and the talent required to change a world that is desperately calling for new leaders. It is a sacred mission to prepare and inspire them to take on those leadership roles. I cannot wait to get to know each and every one of you, the remarkable people who make this world-class institution what it is. I thank you for the warm welcome, and I'm ready to get to work, as I hope you are too. Thank you so much.
We have a special something for Laura.
If Tiffany Bowe, the president of SGA, could come up to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so honored to be here as president of SGA. I know that I speak for the Barnard community when I say that we are all looking forward to engaging with our incoming president via Zoom meetings, in-person meetings, other opportunities this spring. We have a little gift that we hope is your first of many visits to campus. First is a Barnard zip-up that you might need for the transition from Florida weather to New York. And the second is a Barnard bear that each student receives as part of their new student orientation program. Welcome to the community.
Well, on behalf of Barnard Board of Trustees and the Presidential Search Committee, I really don't want to do this, but I'm told I need to close our program. Thank you for coming and helping us going forward. Your participation will be welcome. Thank you.